We're back with another episode of Venture with Joe and Cody. I'm Joe. That's Cody. What's going on, man?
Heyo.
Hey,
Just
we
living it up,
took,
We got another
we
100-degree day today, I think.
oh, I know. Well,
Cranking.
we're gonna post this on Friday, so I don't know if it's gonna
Okay,
be a
then.
100-degree day.
Yeah.
So what are we
Well, today it's
predicting?
supposed
Like, yeah, like
2 days ago
at the time of
today.
recording, like,
Yes.
um, so you had we missed last week, which kind of bugs me, but it was like totally my fault. I was like having all these plans to, you had said you were gone and you were willing to do a bunch of stuff to make this happen, and it just like the week got away from me, and it just like, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'll get Cora on there, maybe I'll get Christina on there, and maybe I'll just
Yeah.
make something happen, and then the week just kind of went, and then it was like, here we are. So missed a
Sure.
week.
Missed a
But we are
week. Yes.
we are back, and that happens. It's summer, but I'd like to stay
Yeah.
consistent with it. But it's
I know.
my own fault. My own fault. It's not your fault. You told me about this trip, and I did
Well,
not prepare, Cody. Did not prepare.
I'm just glad I didn't get replaced.
You did not.
I know every time I'm out,
You did not.
It's
You're
a
always.
concern.
It's always edge. Your wife's like, "What's wrong, man? You're off."
Yeah.
Like you're like, I just
I
keep
know.
thinking about Joe in this podcast.
Like the podcast, we didn't podcast this week.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
just
feel
curious.
something's missing.
Is he gonna stay with me? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man,
It reminds me
no.
of when I lived in Southern California. We lived right on the beach, and it got
Uh-huh.
to the point where it was like you would surf every day just because you just walk out your door and it's right there. And I remember there being days where I wouldn't go out in the water, and you're like, something feels off today. What's
Yeah.
wrong? Oh, I didn't go surfing yet. I need to go surf. That's how I feel when I'm
Really
not on the podcast here with you.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. That makes total
Yeah.
sense.
Same thing.
It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, the week was good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. The week
Good.
was good. I went and played a golf tournament out in Bend, out at Pronghorn.
Okay.
And
Beautiful
I had done
course
the same.
if you're not from Oregon.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Two courses out there. Really nice. Both, I think one of them is private, one of them is public, but super cool place. They do a really good job of putting the tournament on out there. And we were able to make it out of our flight. So we were the winners of our group, and then we went to kind of like the championship round, I guess you'd call it, where
Okay.
all of the winners of the flights play together on the same hole, and then they just eliminate. So like if there's tiebreakers, they just do like a chip off or something,
Okay.
because they have to, otherwise it would just take forever. So
Take forever,
they go
yeah.
4 holes of the championship, and they usually eliminate like 4 teams.
Okay.
And then depending on how many are left, they'll eliminate to where the last round is just 2 teams. So we got knocked out the first round, but it was a blast. Like such a cool experience, and one of the coolest experiences I think I've ever had playing golf was on the first hole of the whole championship. This hole was really cool too. It's kind of like their signature hole. So you're hitting it over this canyon, and it's got this big rock surround behind the green. And, there's probably 50, 60 people up on the green, up on the rocks. Like there's a house to the left.
Too many people.
So you got a crowd of people. and the way that they did it too is they go like, we were in flight number 9 and there was 11 of them. So they start with flight 1. And flight 1 is like the best golfers. Flight 11 is like the worst based on handicap. So
Yeah.
I'm watching these guys and I'm hearing the crowd, boo, and it's like,
yeah,
oh
like a
man, I'm gonna
TPC.
get up
Yeah.
there, like this is
the
gonna
waste
be either
management. Yeah.
yes, like this is either gonna be really cool or really bad. So it was
Yeah.
super cool being able to have like a good tee shot, and mine must have landed on the front of the green and rolled up, or landed on the front of the green and rolled back a little bit. It's hard to know, but
Okay.
I heard the crowd kind of, oh yeah. I was like, oh, whew. I didn't
Love
want to
it.
get booed and shank it. So it was super cool.
Love
was
it,
awesome.
man.
Yeah.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
is it for a charity, or is it for, like, what is it for, or is it just for fun?
It's a member guest. And so each member, I don't know, probably just whoever signs up, the member gets to bring a guest, and then it's just a tournament based on that. So it's like my teammate, he was the member.
Okay.
And then the groups that you play against is the same thing. One of the players is a member there, and one of the players is just a guest.
Okay.
So, really cool. It's super organized, and you don't really have to do a whole lot of thinking. They do everything. But yeah, it's just a fun thing, I guess they do. It sounds like most like membership based courses do a member guest. And it's just a super cool. I think it's just a fun way to like have a competition. I'm sure they probably do tournaments and stuff like this throughout, but it sounds like they
Yeah.
just do a 1 year or one time a year they do a member guest, and so it's like it's a cool like a whole. It doesn't feel like a major thing, but it is because your scores are kept and tracked, and they got
Yeah.
leaderboards and
That's cool.
everything, and so it's like it gives you that fun um competition side of golf
For sure.
versus the usual where we go out and play and it's like okay we might be playing little games and stuff, but you're just kind of out there having fun. So it adds a whole different element, which I've realized that I like a lot. Is I mean I enjoy competing, so it's fun, but it's like every hole and every round matters, so it kind of forces you to stay in it a little bit rather than like all
Yeah.
right, well, screw this one. And you can also have a bad hole and your teammate has a good hole and you could still win. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
thank you. All right, next hole. I got it.
That's
I'm back
cool.
on track. So yeah,
That's fun,
really
man.
cool.
Yeah, we've only played in the ones where, and I think you and I have talked about this, is those best ball scrambles, and it's
Yeah.
always like the majority of the group is like the majority of all the teams, like every team involved is like -5, -6, minus what, and then the winner's always like -35, and I'm like, and they're
Yes.
always like overweight old guys. Like I'm like,
Uh-huh.
you did not get that. Like, and
Yes.
no one will call them out. And I'm one of these days, I'm calling them out. I'm like, you got to hit off
Uh-huh.
this tee box right now and show us you can hit
Right.
worthy of a -35. Like,
Yes.
those tournaments bug me so bad because it
Oh
is
man.
literally the entire group is
Mm-hmm.
all within like 2-3 strokes, and then there's always ones that
Yes.
just dominate, and they never match. It's never like four
No.
PGA Tour players. Like, it's
Right.
always guys that you're like, they're in wife beater t-shirts
Uh-huh.
and drinking like their 18th Coors Light. Like, it's like, no,
Yes.
you did not get that score.
Oh,
So
I
yeah,
know.
those are the
Yeah,
ones I
that's
play in. Like,
that's all I've ever played in too prior to
yeah,
this last year.
yeah,
And that's one thing that's kind of cool about it is you're playing against the team that you're playing against. We have to keep track of each
yeah.
other's
You've got to
scores
know.
too.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
there's nothing funny going on. We're
for
helping
sure.
each other look for balls, and it's like it's a very fun but yet also competitive and
Yeah, no,
serious
that's really cool.
atmosphere. But those scrambles, those get squirrely because you can have what you feel like is a pretty good round between
Yes,
your group,
you're not gonna
and
win.
you're like, yeah, you're like we might be close, and you're
No.
like 15 strokes off. And you're like, no
No, I have
way.
learned I've learned after multiple of those things that no matter what, I'm gonna lose. Like, because I'm
Yes,
not willing to cheat and add
yes,
and take away 5 strokes off of our game.
uh huh,
And
yeah,
so unless you are, you're going to lose.
yes, yeah. They're
Uh,
probably using all the breakfast balls and like, oh, let me put that one more time.
absolutely.
Okay, I made
Abs-
that one. Yeah, let's call
Absolutely.
it.
No,
Uh
I
huh.
anyways. Well, I'm
Yeah,
glad you had fun. It was a good
yeah,
time. Sorry we missed you last week, and sorry we didn't get
yeah.
get a podcast last week, but we're back. So here we
We're
are.
back. Yeah. How was your
We
week?
it was good. We were busy, and again, it was like trying to get this podcast in. Without you, I lack the motivation. So I'm like, okay, I'll get Cora to do it, or I'll get Christina to do it, and then they're like, hey, I don't know if I want to, And so I'm like,
Yeah,
whatever. Like, we've got
sure.
other work to do. Let's just do it and not worry
Yeah,
about it. So, um, kind of bummed we didn't get it, but we're back and we're in it. So,
yeah.
they just went to Alcee with friends. Christina, a bunch of her friends, go there with their kids, and they just kind of to have a property on the river and just
Oh,
property.
cool.
So they camp, bring
Oh,
paddle
nice.
boards and floaties, and just kind of get to hang out and
That's
enjoy the
cool.
river. So they've been doing that for the last few days, and I've been holding down the fort with work,
Yeah.
busy this week, and it's good for business. And um, yeah, as to the market, like nothing crazy, balanced market. Sellers are,
Hmm.
have to come to grips with that. It's not a seller's market anymore, and buyers are
Mm.
knowing it's not a seller's market anymore.
Yeah,
And so
right.
buyers are sitting there like, well, we'll take our time, and sellers are like, please, like, sell my
Uh-huh.
house. So,
Yes.
but that all changes. Like, the real estate industry changes, very slowly, and the mentalities change very slowly because it's an industry where people aren't in there. You're in there every 5, 7, 10 years. You
Sure.
don't stay up with the industry, and so it's a lot of
Yeah.
like educating, and not in a negative or not in a condescending way, but a lot of educating sellers primarily of like, hey, we're not where we were when you were selling or buying last time. It's just not the
Yeah.
market anymore. So been a learning curve for everyone, but I think
Mm-hmm.
for overall, probably you agree with me, is that in the lending world, in the real estate world, it's a balanced market, and
Mm-hmm.
buyers have say, sellers have some say, and you just kind of have to play the game. It's no longer so lopsided that one's just getting beat up and the other one's getting everything they
Right.
want. So
Yeah. Yeah. I notice that a lot with people too. People, especially people that are not in the market to buy or sell or anything. They're always surprised whenever, you have a conversation. Oh, what do you do for work? And tell them, and they're like, how are rates looking? How's the market? And they're always like, oh, wow, really? I didn't realize that it was
for
it
sure.
was there, because I think for most people that are not interested in it or into it, it's like you just figure that the market's probably similar to what it was when you bought
Yeah,
5 years ago or whenever.
for
And
sure.
yeah, there's usually, oh wow, really? Okay, that's crazy how much it's changed. And
Yeah,
you're like, yeah, it's been like this for a while, but
yeah,
if you're not paying attention to it, then it probably does
totally.
feel like, oh wow, that's quite the difference. But
Totally. It's not expected to pay attention to it. It's nerdy to pay attention to it, I think. And it's,
right,
unless you're in the industry, it doesn't really matter. If you're sitting
yeah,
in your house happy and content, then who cares?
sure,
But when they get
yeah,
into it, they're like, okay, let's get the crash course in it. And they're like, whoa, like,
yes,
what happened? And
things have
so,
changed. Okay.
yeah. So, but rest assured, it is, to me, it's a very healthy market and it's not anything crazy to think about. It's just more of, it's normal. It's
It
a normal
is.
market. So,
It is. It's become normal over the last couple years now.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of normal, and it's not going to be normal. I always, it's funny. I always used to say that in my old dignitary protection unit, and they would tell us right now. They'd be laughing right now because I would always say, "Speaking of the topic we were talking about," and I would say something completely random, and it wasn't on
Yeah.
purpose. I would be like, "Speaking of that," and then I would go off on a random tangent. They're like, "That is not. You were not speaking of that topic."
That's
But
not how you
anyways,
use that
I
phrase.
know not how I use it, but speaking
That's
of
great.
that, I wanted to
Yes.
talk a little bit about mortgages and lenders, because I think, again, speaking of coming into this market, every 5, 7, 8, 10 years, a lot
Hmm.
has changed. And
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of terminology that's thrown around in the lending world and to buyers and from buyers that they assume it all means this or it all means that or it's all the same or not. And
Yeah.
so I just kind of wanted to clarify some things. I don't think this will be a crazy in-depth podcast, but who knows?
Right.
But just more about when a buyer is looking for a lender,
Hmm.
what is it? What are you? What I guess let's start with just what do you suggest they're looking for in a lender, in general, and I'll kind of go off tangents. Speaking of that,
Yes. I I always think the best thing is finding somebody that is willing to educate you on what your options are. And the main reason for that is just to get a good understanding of what all is out there, because sometimes if you don't get into that process of asking the questions and kind of seeing what's out there, I think you can run into a situation where maybe that loan program or type or thing will fit what you're looking for, but there might be something that's better out there. But if you're not asking the questions or having the conversation and they're not educating you on what different options are out there, then you could miss something very easily. Because if you go to somebody and you're like, hey, I want to buy a house and I got 20% down and this is what I want, and they give you that, and it's like, oh, that's perfect. But if there was a little bit more conversation that went into it, you might be able to convey a little bit more of what you're looking for. They might be able to say, oh, okay, well, if that's what you've got, then let's look at doing these different options, which might actually work out
yeah,
better for you. But if it's just like a cookie cutter kind of thing, then they might not feel the need to get creative. And not that every loan has to be creative, but I do think that when you start to open that up a little bit, there can be more of that. Well, I could put less down and I could still achieve a lower payment or a different scenario with what I have.
hmm
Just because I say I've got $100,000 to put down,
doesn't mean you have to use it.
doesn't yeah, it doesn't always mean that just let's put $100,000 down and call it
Yeah,
good. That might be a
yeah,
great option, but I think that's a big thing, is trying to just kind of get a feel for what how are we putting it all together? Are you just doing what I'm asking you to do, or are you kind of taking some of your knowledge and expertise to say, hey, here's what you're wanting to do, and I'm totally good with doing that, but I also wanted to show you a couple different ways that you could use the same money, because when you think about it, it's just kind of like a different strategy of investing
for
your
sure.
money, right? Like you could put it in the whatever stock market is the easiest, best, slowest, steady return. Or you could go, hey, what if we put like 30% of your stock in there and we do a dabble a little bit over here and some a little more aggressive stuff. It's kind of the same concept, right? Like not on a risk base, but just a different way of utilizing some of your money. So
Yeah,
I think somebody that's just willing to take the time to have the conversations and listen to questions
for sure.
is big
Yeah,
for
I
me.
think from the real estate side of things, and what I tell buyers that are coming in and gonna get referred to you and a few other lenders is specialty and personality. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there are programs that, and you're not afraid to admit that there are programs that your company doesn't offer, or there's programs that your company offers that no one else offers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and the thing that comes to mind is doctors, for example. Like, I know that
Mm.
Bank of America actually does some good doctor programs.
Yeah.
And I'm just using that as an example of, like, if you have a specialty, whether that be either your special field
Mm-hmm.
or you're a business owner and you need some special assistance with how you run your taxes and how you
Yeah.
claim your money and those sort of things. I think, looking at that particular individual in them and say, okay, this may steer you to Cody better, or it may steer
Mm-hmm.
you because you're a cookie cutter doctor or whatever. This company may have a program for, your specialty that works
Yeah.
better than
Totally.
most lenders. And that so specialty for one is like, do these people need something particular?
Mm-hmm.
And so the other thing is personality, and I don't mean just like, is Cody funny or is he, but I
Yeah.
guess I include personality as in, do they respond to you how you want to be responded to, in the sense that,
Mm.
do you want an agent that works 8 to 5 and Monday through Friday, or do you want an agent that you can text at 9, 10, 11 at night? Not to say that you should or always want to, but do you want to be able to talk to someone that, hey, at 10 o'clock at night, you're like, I completely forgot this, or
Mm-hmm.
this is happening. Like, what does this mean for this house purchase we just saw this evening? Those sort of things. Having an agent, a lender that is responsive is huge. Not only from me
Yeah.
selfishly, from my side of things, it is huge to work
Mm-hmm.
with a lender that does that for my clients, but also for the buyer. I think we've run into more issues than not of people that are like, I'm trying to think, I don't want to say a particular company's name, but just like a, run of the mill company that they're like, hey, they
Mm-hmm.
offered a great rate online. It was great Google advertising, but the agent doesn't work past 5. And we just saw a house at 6 and we want to write an offer because it's like, it's a popular
Yeah.
house. And now this agent's not going to get back to me with a pre-approval or any terms until 8 tomorrow
Sure.
morning.
Yep.
So anyways, that's kind of what I say. Like, I don't know if you have anything against that or argue against that or for that, but that's kind of what I advise my clients when they're looking for a lender.
Yeah. I mean, I would second that for sure, because I feel like you have to be those things in order to have success, unless you're just, maybe you're just super successful and you have the ability to just not do those things.
Yeah,
But it
yeah,
feels to me like if you're wanting to give a really good experience for the buyers and for the real estate agents that you're working with too, it's like those things kind of have to happen. Good communication, be available. I think everybody kind of knows too, for the most part, like, hey, I'm not trying to bug you at 7:30 at night because you're
for sure.
probably at home, you're probably with your family. But at the same time, we got to get this question answered or this thing
Yeah,
resolved. And I
for sure.
think we're all on the same page with it. And I always tell buyers too, I'm sure you probably do the same thing, like, reach out to me. I use my cell phone for
Hmm.
work stuff, right? So reach out to me. If I'm like right in the middle of something, might text you back and just say, "Hey, can you give me like 10 minutes and I'll call you
Yeah,
back," or
for sure.
whatever. But like, I know that that's when life happens when it comes to the
In
transaction
our
too,
world, for
because
sure. Yeah,
yeah, right? Like, people that are buying houses are working all day. And then when it comes time to looking at homes and trying to structure stuff and put things together, it can be the evenings and the weekends. And so to not be available there, I feel like you're not doing a good service for your client, because that's when they need you. And it might only take you 5 minutes, right? And
for
it's
sure.
like,
For sure.
is that really that big of a deal? Probably not. But I think it's crucial, because there's nothing more frustrating, as you know, especially when you get towards the tail end of a transaction
Oh yeah,
and you
when
can't
things
get a
start
hold
hitting the
of
fan and you can't get a hold of anyone.
yeah, you can't get a hold of them, or they're like, man, it takes them 6 hours or 8 hours to get back to me. Like
Yeah,
this is a stressful time, and waiting here is not helping things. So I think sometimes it helps too, even just to relieve stress a little bit of like, cool, okay, I can talk to you and we can kind of work these things out, and knowing that they're being taken care of, rather than just the waiting game. That's not fun for anybody.
for sure. And I think you mentioned it was a really good point, or a really good term, is the experience. Um, you really want the experience. I know this isn't a Disney ride, but you do want the experience of a home process and a home purchase to be an experience that you enjoyed, though
Hmm.
it's going to be stressful. There's no getting, Cody and I can't take the stress away because
Yeah.
it's a large purchase, but we can give an experience that feels like they're heard, they're needed,
Hmm.
that the process went smoothly. Any issues that were rectified were done quickly, and the open communication provides an experience for the purchase that is maybe not talked about as much, but is extremely important when you're in it. Like, I think when people
Yeah.
get into this, they're like, Zillow agent, Rocket Mortgage, who cares?
Right.
Let's do it. And then they're like, well, that process sucked the whole time. They got the
Uh-huh.
house. The end goal happened.
Sure.
But you could have lost money. You could have paid more in an interest
Hmm.
rate. Maybe not. Maybe even if you got the best deals, but your experience, I know that, putting value to an experience is hard to do, but um,
Hmm.
you didn't feel okay. Like I've had
Yeah.
more people than not that have had those kind of clickbait type of agents and clickbait type of lenders that are like, yeah, it all looked good, but it
Uh,
was a terrible experience. And so they
yeah.
get into the house they want, but they don't feel good. You don't feel like anything happened properly, and it just is a blah. And I just don't. I
Yeah.
hate that. I hate hearing that because it's totally unnecessary and totally avoidable
Hmm.
with just a little bit of research. So
Totally. And I think that's where a big difference too between, we'll just call them, internet resources, right? It's like they're getting that from more internet lead type stuff,
yeah, yeah,
right? So it's like, whether the process is good or bad, it doesn't really matter, because we're just getting volume through the internet.
yeah,
If you're
yeah.
if you're
You just
more
need
on
numbers.
Yeah, if you're more on like building your business through referrals and experiences, I feel like that's where
For
you're going
sure.
to really gain too. Because if somebody has a good experience with you, then they're going to tell their friends and their family
For
about it,
sure.
because it's inevitable that it's going to happen. Oh, hey, I want to buy a house. Hey, who did you use for that? And they're like, oh, yeah, you got to go call
For
Joe
sure.
and Cody.
And
Or
that's
it's,
how you're yeah.
or they're
That's
like,
like
no, I did the online thing and it was
absolutely.
not great. I would find somebody else. Trust me. And I always want that, and I take a lot of pride. I know you do too, in being able to take care of clients
For
through
sure.
multiple purchases throughout their lives, to where it's like, I feel like that alone says a lot about how you handle your business, if they're willing to come back to you and say, hey, dude, you made this so great for us the last time, we want to do it again.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Yeah, I think that it's important to see, the volume versus the quality in what your business, what that person's business model is. Is that lender, you and I built a business model based on referrals and client referrals. What comes with that is you have to treat them appropriately. Like, not that we have to, but we do because that's what we built our business on and that's who we are. Um, the people that do the volume don't care about that. And it's not to say they're not bad
Yeah.
people or that they're
Sure.
bad people and they treat everyone poorly. But if you run a business like that and you have a business model like that, which can be a very successful business model, is you have to pump through numbers. And that person that just closed, you never have to see them again because you don't need
Right.
them. Like, you're
Yep.
getting new, you're getting new, you're getting new. So when you have that mentality of like, once this closes, person A is gone. Don't
Hmm.
care, move on. Whereas me and
Yeah.
you are like, we have to close and then be friends with them and then talk to them and continue. We want to continue a relationship with them for
Yeah.
years to come, knowing that like in 5, 7, 10 years, they will hopefully contact us. And
Right.
that's a long game. That's a long game of being an agent and being a lender that protects their client from not only just the closing of the sale to all the way through and what their
Hmm.
value is now and what the rates are now and and just kind of keeping them up to date on the various
Yeah.
things. So there's a balance. It was funny when I was new, you always want to be the agent that had like 30 something sales this year and blah 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 and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
because you were so super self-conscious and like okay, what like
Huh.
people are going to think I don't sell enough homes and blah 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 blah. But I think there's a fine balance because I would be more concerned about the agent that tells me that they have 200 sales in a
Hmm.
year because I'm like,
Totally.
to get to the amount of work that it takes to get 200 sales is a lot. Not to say they're
Hmm.
not working hard, but you
Right.
cannot provide a client experience that is the
Hmm.
same as an agent that does 30 something homes a year. Like you just
Right.
can't. That's not a, it's
Yeah.
not even a possible thing. You can automate things, you can hire team members, you can hire people to show homes and all that, and that's what they do to get to
Hmm.
that number. Um,
Right.
but you're kind of sacrificing that customer service to an extent. And again, I'm not going to, no one come knock me and say, oh, I do 200 deals a year and I'm the best agent and everyone loves me.
Right.
I'm not trying to get into an argument. I'm just saying that
Uh-huh.
you have to get, you cannot argue that you have to give up some level of service from yourself to the client if you're going to do 250 sales a year. Like that's
Totally.
the
Yeah.
versus 30 to 40. Like that's
Yep.
just, you can't do it. So
I
I
agree.
do kind of like, now that I've been in the business and been in it for a while, those numbers don't matter as much. I'd be more
Hmm.
apt to work with that agent. I know it sounds very cliche when you're new. You're like, I only have 2 sales, but that means I'm going to work with you and you only.
Right.
That's the only way you can market yourself. But I actually
Yes.
appreciate that. And in a way, it's like
Uh-huh.
that person will, if they're a good person, are trying to build a business, trying to work hard for you. What they maybe lack in knowledge of the industry, they'll make up in, the work.
Oh
So
yeah.
I don't know. What's your thoughts with that sort of stuff with the lending world?
I think it's the same. I think it's the same thing. Um, there's definitely a balance of what is too much by yourself versus having additional people be on the team with you to kind of handle some of the more, call it, paperwork side of
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
right?
for sure,
So
for sure.
um, there's a balance there, and I've always, I guess, wanted to be able to provide good service because that's just what I want to do. Right? I'd rather have a little bit less transactions going on and be able to feel like I'm like taking care of everyone than throwing three or four more on there. And then it's kind of like, you're like stretched thin and you're trying to kind of juggle everything, because there is a balance where things do slip through the cracks a little bit
For sure.
easier.
For sure.
You're, maybe not giving it the same personal touch. So I think the same thing. And I'm sure that the number is different for the lending side versus the real estate
Yeah,
side
yeah.
on
You
like
guys
what that
probably have
number
higher
is
numbers that you can
monthly.
handle. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, cuz it's a little more like sporadic, I guess, on
Yeah.
the attention that is needed. Once you get everything up and running, it's kind of like plug and play. It's on the machine,
Mhm.
and now you're just kind of doing updates and checking in and touching base and stuff. But so I think there's like a flow to it, similar to what you'd have, just like once you get a, I don't know, once you get a listing finally up and everything, it's like
Yeah.
you've
Then there's a
taken the
balance of
time
like,
and
okay, there's
energy
a
to,
lull, then there's a back into the race, then there's a lull. It's kind of a ebb and flow throughout
yeah,
the process. But
yeah. I think we always want all the business we can handle, and then you
mhm.
get that point and you're like, holy smokes, this is awesome yet
Yeah.
terrifying, because how do I handle all this on my own
Yeah.
and still give the experience that I want to give? And I think just like everything, you adapt and you figure out
For
some
sure.
good, you know, systems and processes and calendars. You lean on that stuff so much more. Whereas when you've only got maybe one client at a time, all your energy and everything is
For sure.
focused to them.
For
So you
sure.
can provide such a great service because you're my baby right now.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do everything to make sure that you're like going through this process really smooth and easy, and as smooth and easy as you can. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a balance act for sure.
Yeah, the growth in our industry is very hard because it is like that. There's been times that we felt like overstretched to where I don't think that the client necessarily felt it, but we felt it like that we just kind of got through that one, like because we're
Yeah.
so busy.
Uh-huh.
And we've tried to like on the surface make the client feel that way, but I think it's more of an internal thing. But growth,
Probably.
what comes with growth is is not just all fun and games. Like I think agents think like, oh man, if I could only have 30 listings a year, 40 listings a year, I'd be so much happier. It's like,
Uh-huh.
man, they always say like business growth is not easy, and people kind of like can fail from too much growth and not being prepared for
Hmm.
it. And
Yeah.
so, and I think in our industry, it can be easy to get that way, especially if we're coming from a referral based business that you basically don't want to or can't say no because you
Yeah.
want to help these people. They're friends of your sister or friends of,
Uh-huh.
of a family member or something like that. You're like, it's not as easy to just be like, I just am too busy.
Right.
Here's Joe Schmuck real estate. But But yeah, there's a we've been experiencing that and kind of having to readjust and say, how do we make this happen? And with a
Hmm.
team, keeping it small enough that people feel like it's us,
Yeah.
but big enough on the back end that we can get the work done, to make
Hmm.
everyone's life okay. But anyways,
Yeah.
going off on a tangent, but I think that, yeah, from what Cody said, from what I said is like, personality, availability,
Hmm.
different, there are going to be different things that Cody can't do, different loans that he can't do that others can that are specific to a particular person or particular job. But
For sure.
really it should come down, to those two particular things. And that's having a good lender that Cody has multiple times with multiple of our clients said, I can't do this one. Like, go to this
Hmm.
lender or go to this person because they can do it better. And so having a lender that does that and doesn't promise you the world. And the same goes for an agent. Do not, we're going to need another podcast because it's now making me mad. If an agent promises you the world, they're lying to you. Like,
Uh-huh.
agents generally provide you, agents are more specific on the personality and the availability and the experience that you get versus like anyone that's promising that they're going to do this for you and this is going to be make your wildest dreams come true is a liar and a fraud
Yeah,
because
right.
because everyone would be doing it in the industry if that was the key to a client's success. Like,
Sure.
the things this industry has been around long enough that things have been tested and run and tested and run and tested and run, that you have to choose an agent that has the experience that you like, the personality that you like, and is going to treat you appropriately, knows the market. Do not
Yeah.
listen to an agent that says, I'm going to get you this for your house and no one else can do it, because they are lying to you. But anyways, other podcasts that
Right.
I'm going to maybe to have a rant podcast with you about that,
Yes.
because it bothers me as of recently, because we've just had agents promising the world, and I'm like, they're such liars. But
Yeah.
anyways, um, on a different
Uh,
note, on a more
it's
positive note, this has been a good podcast. Um,
yes.
choosing lenders.
Choose it,
um,
which is a big thing. I
it's
think
a big one.
sometimes
It's a big one
it doesn't get enough weight on it. It's
for
kind of
sure.
like, all right, well, who do I call, or who's the cheapest, or whatever.
For
And
sure.
everything that you can think of in choosing a lender is going to be really important. But I think that there should be more emphasis on it, um,
I agree.
on why you're choosing them.
Yep. Well, if you guys need anything, if you need help with that, feel free to reach out to Cody. He is not afraid. He's not going to suck you into his little lending scheme and tell you that he's
That's
the
right.
best. But he will help you with whatever you need. And if he can't help you, he's, and that's why you're one of our preferred lenders, is that you do that and you don't make clients feel pressured into working with you only because there are different things that I offer to other people. So if you have any
Hmm.
questions, Cody can help with those. No pressure with that. And if you have any questions on the real estate side of things, we're here for you. So,
Absolutely.
well, it was good talking to you, man. It's good to be
Hey,
back,
you
and let's
too.
keep this ball rolling. But I guess until
Yeah.
next week.
Let's do it. Maybe next
Eh,
week we'll see another red trophy up there, huh?
I love that. I love it so much. Okay, man. Well,
Yes.
we'll chat with you later.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.